Have you ever wondered where the boundary between bravery and madness truly lies? Do not blink. What you are about to witness will completely redefine the concept of fear. Here, a second of distraction will be paid for with your own life. There is no second chance and no pause button. Right now, Untamed Globe will take you through the roads and bridges that even the most resilient riders must hold their breath whenever they face them. Fasten your seatbelt to join us in starting a challenging journey. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. Imagine your are gripping the steering wheel tightly, sweat still drenching you, even though the air of the Bolivian highlands is bone-chillingly cold. Under the wheels, just a few short millimeters away, is an abyss over 600 meters deep, with no barriers, no escape, and absolutely no chance to correct a mistake if you happen to slip even 1 centimeter. You are standing before North Yungas, a place the world fearfully calls the Scythe of Death. Here, the thick fog swallows your vision, turning hairpin turns into haunting traps. Along the way, crosses rise up not for prayer, but as silent reminders of those who have remained forever in the depths of the abyss. Amidst the screaming engine and the cold moisture, you will understand that every meter of road successfully crossed is not due to skill, but a privilege of fate. Hussaini Hanging Bridge, Pakistan. Between the icy peaks of the Karakoram Range, the Hussaini Hanging Bridge appears like a giant dragon skeleton, dangling over the rushing water. Try looking down at your feet. The rotting wooden planks are so far apart that every step feels like a gamble with death. Beneath those wide gaps is the murky Hunza River, surging with waves, ready to swallow anyone who accidentally slips. Wind from the deep canyons blows back, screaming in your ears and pushing the bridge to sway violently like a thin thread before a storm. The creaking sound of rotting wood mixing with the whistling wind will remind you of a harsh truth that your life at this moment sometimes depends only on the durability of a frayed rope. D915 Baybertov Road, Turkey. Before your eyes is the place recognized by global drivers as the most brutal and dangerous road on the planet. Today, do not bother searching for safety barriers, because here there is absolutely nothing separating your tires and the abyss hundreds of meters below. With 29 Derabasha hairpin turns so tight they take your breath away, every turn of the steering wheel is a time you are performing a dance of survival with death right on the edge of the rock. Dust rises from the crunching gravel road, where even a small error in feeling the gas pedal is enough to send you into the infinite void. Fog frequently rolls in from the Black Sea, swallowing vision and turning narrow curves into deadly invisible traps. It is a true battle of wits, where survival instinct forces you to concentrate to the maximum so as not to become part of the deep canyon. Kuandinsky Bridge, Russia. If you think a bridge must have barriers or a solid roadway, then Kuandinsky in the frozen Siberia region will redefine that entire madness. This is a strip of rusted metal spanning across the fierce Vitim River, where fear is materialized on every centimeter of the tire. Look down. Its width is just enough for a single car, with absolutely no room for any mistake or hesitation. The only thing separating you from the icy water below are rotting wooden planks lying scattered on an old iron frame from decades ago. Every time a vehicle rolls, this entire giant structure shakes violently as if it is about to disintegrate into pieces, throwing everything into the void. Guoliang Tunnel, China. Touch your hands against these jagged cliffs. You can still feel each primitive chisel mark clearly etched on the dry stone walls. More than 50 years ago, "13 villagers decided to take a gamble with destiny, using hammers and steel chisels to break the silence of the mountains for 5 long years. When driving through the murky darkness, you will suddenly come across giant stone windows looking straight down into the infinite void below. Sunlight, piercing through the rock cavities, creates bright yellow streaks of light, contrasting sharply with the cold, suffocating atmosphere inside the tunnel. A trembling sensation will invade your mind. When you realize the barrier between safety and the abyss right now is only as thin as a single handspan. Ashima Ohashi Bridge, Japan. What you are seeing is not a concrete wall, but a bridge that redefines the limits of gravity. Ashima Ohashi appears like a giant silk ribbon bent vertically toward the sky, a testament to the crazy creativity of modern construction engineering. It stands tall to make way for cargo ships weighing thousands of tons in the Nakami Lake below. Although the actual slope is an optical illusion from afar, when truly facing it, it still has enough power to paralyze even the most faint-hearted drivers. Right at the highest peak, the exhilaration will suddenly die out, replaced by a terrifying sense of falling as gravity begins to pull the car downhill mercilessly. Your gaze will be pulled tightly toward the long, receding road ahead, where the boundary between the water and the sky is completely blurred. Fairy Meadows Road, Pakistan. Do not let the name Fairy Meadows fool you, because the path leading to this paradise is actually a 16-kilometer journey straight into a nightmare. This is not an ordinary traffic road, but a strip of loose gravel clinging precariously to a vertical cliff at an altitude of over 3,300 meters. In the distance, standing tall at 8,126 meters, is Nanga Parbat Peak, the 9th highest mountain in the world that locals fearfully call the Man-Eater. Look down below. The road is so narrow that it is less than 3 meters wide, just enough for an old Jeep to crawl through, while the outer tires often sit right on the edge of the abyss, hundreds of meters deep. Throughout 16 kilometers, there are absolutely no barriers, no guardrails, and no room for hesitation. You will hear the sound of gravel crunching and crumbling under the weight of the vehicle, then disappearing into the void, a sound like death knocking on the door. Musu Tsurubashi Bridge, Japan. We return to the threatening silence of the misty forests in the southern Japanese Alps. Musu Tsurubashi appears not as an architectural work, but like a rotting thread stretched across a deep canyon. Look at the thin cables covered in green moss and the tiny, rotting wooden planks groaning with every gust of mountain wind. You are forced to bet your life on rusted joints that have existed for decades without any maintenance. Below is the deep abyss, where the sound of flowing water echoes up like a reminder of human insignificance before the void. Every step is a battle of wits between the survival instinct and the desire to conquer the ultimate fear within you. Zojilar Pass, India. This is a death road about 9 kilometers long, acting as the only lifeline connecting the Kashmir Valley and the remote Ladakh highlands. Observe the heavy 10-wheeled trucks moving centimeter by centimeter to squeeze past each other right on the edge of the abyss. Here, the distance between the tire and the void is sometimes less than 10 millimeters, while there are absolutely no protective barriers. In winter, snowfall can be as thick as over 15 meters, causing this route to be frequently isolated completely for 6 long months. Crunching stone dust blending with thick frost reduces the driver's vision to the extreme limit, sometimes less than 3 meters in front of the vehicle's nose. Every trip across the pass is not just transporting goods, but an affirmation of the intense survival will of the highland residents. Puente de Ojuela Bridge, Mexico. Before your eyes is a suspension bridge made of wood and steel built in 1898, standing tall like an old skeleton in the middle of the void. With a length of up to 318 meters, this was once one of the longest suspension bridges in the world at the end of the 19th century. Listen to the sound of wood creaking under your feet. That sound echoes through the 95-meter deep canyon right beneath the bridge surface. Its width is only about 2 meters, making every step of the traveler more cautious than ever before the whirlwinds. This bridge is the only road leading into the abandoned mining town of Mapimi, where ghosts of the past seem to still linger in the dark tunnels. The feeling of standing in the middle of the swaying bridge and looking toward the bleak ghost town will make you realize the fragility of what humans once built. Road of Bones, Russia. What you are seeing is not a path, but a giant cemetery 2,000 kilometers long, clinging to the harsh Russian Far East. People call this the Road of Bones, a name not meant for imagination, but a gruesome truth about its painful origins. Look deep beneath that cold gravel layer. That is the resting place of hundreds of thousands of prisoners who fell during the Gulag nightmare in the 1930s. In winter, the temperature here can plummet to a record minus 70 degrees Celsius. In this extreme cold, metal becomes as brittle as glass, and human skin will be frostbitten immediately without protection. You will feel as if ghosts of the past are silently chasing behind your vehicle, Watching every meter of the road, you venture into this dead land. Quepos Bridge, Costa Rica. Listen closely to the sound of death, the sound of loose wooden planks dancing and thumping under the weight of thousands of kilograms from the wheels. Every time the vehicle moves meter by meter over the 80-meter length of this rusted iron bridge, the entire structure shakes violently like an old skeleton that has existed for over 40 years, trying hopelessly to strain against gravity. Beneath the precarious bridge span, just less than 10 meters from your tires, is the murky river where giant crocodiles up to 5 meters long are silently floating on the water. A trembling sensation will squeeze your chest as you look through the window and see rotting wooden planks sliding out of position, revealing the deadly void right under your feet. The contrast between the lush green of the old forest and the decay of this steel structure creates a picture of survival where the allowed margin of error is zero. Rohtang Pass, India. If you think a mountain pass is just a scenic path, then Rohtang will redefine the limits of horror. Located at an altitude of 3,978 meters, this is not a tourist route, but a 51-kilometer-long battlefield between human will and the fury of the Himalayas. Here, the oxygen concentration is only about 60% compared to sea level, making every breath you take a painful struggle. You will witness 10-ton trucks roaring in despair amidst the thick mud, where wheels are less than 30 centimeters from the deep abyss. Sudden snowfall can accumulate up to 10 meters thick in winter, turning the road into a white trap with no escape in just a few minutes. Aiguille du Midi Bridge, France. Before your eyes is the Aiguille du Midi footbridge, a tiny strip of steel hanging suspended at an altitude of 3,842 meters above sea level. Try looking down beneath your feet through small gaps, where a white abyss over 1,000 meters deep is waiting to swallow the faint-hearted. The bridge is only about 10 meters long, but is the only link between two jagged rocky peaks that look like devil teeth tearing at the sky. contrast between the pure white snow and the piercing blue of the soaring sky creates a scene that is both magnificent and threatening. Wind here can suddenly reach speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour, making the entire metal structure vibrate and your heart skip a beat with every shock. This is not just an extraordinary engineering feat, but the ultimate human challenge to the harshness of altitude and gravity. James Dalton Highway, Alaska, USA. Prepare yourself for a 666-kilometer-long route through the frozen heart of Alaska. Here, the phrase absolute solitude is not an exaggeration, but a brutal reality present in every meter of the road. Throughout this long journey, you only pass through exactly 3 tiny settlements, where all connections to the civilized world are completely cut off. Giant 18-wheeled trucks speed through the dust at 90 kilometers per hour, ready to unleash showers of gravel that shatter your windshield. In winter, the temperature here frequently touches minus 60 degrees Celsius, turning engine oil into jelly and making tire rubber as brittle as glass. Under the magical aurora sky, this gravel road reminds you that humans are only tiny temporary residents amidst harsh nature. Passage du Gois, France. Do not let the serenity of the ocean fool you, because before your eyes is a road bearing one of the craziest paradoxes on the planet. This 4.12-kilometer-long stretch of asphalt connects Noirmoutier Island to the mainland, but it only allows you to pass exactly 2 times a day. Each time, you only have a narrow window of about 90 minutes before and after the lowest tide to complete your journey. The power of the tide here is so terrible that it can sweep away even heavy trucks if the driver misses the timing by even a few minutes. Along the route are towering rescue pillars, where late travelers can only climb up and watch their vehicle be destroyed by the salt water in despair. Sunny Pass, South Africa. This is the holy land of 4-wheel drive vehicles, where human will is pushed to the maximum in every rotation of the wheels. In a climbing distance of only 9 kilometers, You must conquer a terrifying altitude from 1,544 meters up to 2,876 meters above sea level. Prepare yourself mentally for brutal curves with a slope of up to 33%. Where the nose of the vehicle points straight to the blue sky and gravity seems to be trying to pull tons of iron and steel down the abyss. The road surface is entirely loose rock and mud, where large, sharp stones like knife blades wait to tear your tires apart at any time. Mountain winds howl through the vertical cliffs, while thick fog can swallow your entire vision in just a few short seconds. You will feel every piston stroke vibrating violently as the engine struggles breathlessly on the slippery ground full of traps. Atlantic Ocean Road, Norway, an 8.3-kilometer-long stretch of asphalt that is breathtakingly beautiful but also full of danger, dangling across a system of 8 consecutive bridges connecting small islands. Most prominent is the Storsøysundet Bridge with a strange curved span reaching 23 meters high in mid-air. Viewed from a certain angle, the asphalt road looks as if it is broken and plunging straight into the void, a visual illusion that squeezes the heart rate of every driver before they can even press the gas. At this time, the angry ocean unleashes columns of waves higher than 10 meters, hitting the asphalt surface directly with the power of 1,000 pounds. The road surface is frequently covered by salt water and white foam, turning the trip into a direct confrontation between life and death. Storm winds here can reach speeds of 120 kilometers per hour, enough to push even the heaviest trucks off course right in the middle of the bridge's curve. Skipper's Canyon Road, New Zealand. Have you ever wondered what the true price of a gold rush is? Skipper's Canyon, a place where even the most reckless insurance companies bluntly refuse to protect your life. More than 140 years ago, frantic gold hunters used black gunpowder and human strength to carve this 22-kilometer-long ice strip directly into the vertical cliff. Look through the window. Beneath a depth of hundreds of meters is the fierce, swirling shot of a river, which was once dubbed the richest river in the world. Every tight curve is a brutal psychological test where you must pray that no other soul appears from the opposite direction. At Skipper's Canyon, the heroic past blends with existing fear, turning this journey into a direct confrontation with destiny. Trollstigen, Norway, like a winding grey silk ribbon, known in folklore by the haunting name the Road of the Trolls. Prepare your spirit to climb 11 hairpin turns so tight they take your breath away, clinging to the vertical mountainside with an average slope of up to 9%. Right next to your steering wheel, the majestic Stigfossen waterfall plunges from a height of 320 meters, creating a white mist that covers the entire windshield in an instant. The roaring sound of the water drowns out even the screaming engine, while the moisture makes the asphalt surface as slippery as an invisible trap. Every meter of road toward the 852-meter peak is a time you must fight dizziness when looking down at the deep Istedalen Valley below. The majesty of the mountains and the brutality of the terrain here will remind you that humans are only tiny guests borrowing a path through the territory of demons. Stelvio Pass, Italy, with 48 hairpin turns, so tight they are crazy. This is the most brutal test for the braking system and the courage of the driver. Try to imagine you are turning the steering wheel continuously to the sound of tires grinding on the cold asphalt road, while the abyss is only a few steps away. The smell of burnt rubber and the screaming engine mix with the freezing wind blowing from the eternal glaciers surrounding the mountain peak. This is not just a road, but a concrete labyrinth where a small mistake can cost you your entire life. The majesty of the white snow and the brutality of the terrain create a haunting attraction, making you both terrified and unable to look away. The resilience of 19th century construction engineering still stands firm as a challenge sent to the dominance of the Alps. Los Caracoles Pass, Chile and Argentina. If you think a mountain pass is just a series of curves, then Los Caracoles will redefine that horror with an icy staircase leading straight into the abyss. At an altitude of over 3,170 meters, where the air is so thin your chest tightens as if being suffocated, the route appears with 29 consecutive hairpin turns as a harsher survival challenge in the Andes. Observe the steel giants carrying goods, moving millimeter by millimeter on the slippery, frozen road surface. The sound of tires sliding lightly on the thin layer of snow mixes with the whistling wind through the grey cliffs, creating an atmosphere of extreme tension. The feeling of the vehicle shuddering every time it crosses a steep slope will make your heart rate beat faster than any adventure game. Los Caracoles is not just a road, it is a testament to the ultimate resilience of humans before the brutal reign of the South American winter. Kahekili Highway, Hawaii, US. When mentioning Hawaii, people often think of sun-drenched beaches and peaceful ukulele music. But on the island of Maui, there is a road that will make you completely change those thoughts. Welcome to the 32-kilometer-long highway, dubbed the narrowest and scariest stretch of asphalt in the entire United States. On your left is a vertical volcanic cliff, hundreds of meters high. Where stray rocks can crash down on the car roof at any time after tropical rains. On the right is an abyss over 60 meters deep, where the violent Pacific waves are screaming and crushing whatever unfortunately falls down. Every time you enter a blind U-turn, you must honk your horn loudly to warn oncoming vehicles, because here, there is absolutely no room for two cars to squeeze past each other. The lush green beauty of Hawaii's nature suddenly becomes so harsh, reminding us that paradise sometimes has paths full of traps. Canning Stock Route, Australia, are you brave enough to face absolute emptiness for 3 consecutive weeks? Before you is the Canning Stock Route, a 1,850-kilometer-long wilderness route considered the toughest survival challenge on Earth. The temperature at noon frequently exceeds 50 degrees Celsius, turning the car cabin into an oven and making the ground crack like dry snakeskin. Here, every strange sound from the engine carries the echo of a death sentence, because breaking down in the heart of the desert will turn you into a target of thirst. Along the route are 51 ancient water wells, traces of cattle herders from the early 20th century, now only bare stone holes. The silence suffocates every thought, where the boundary between courage and recklessness is only determined by the amount of water reserved in the vehicle. Transfagarasan, Romania. Welcome to the Transfagarasan of Romania, where every curve tells of the intersection between ambition and surreal beauty. Stretching over 90 kilometers and climbing to an altitude of 2,042 meters, this route cuts straight through the heart of the majestic Fagarash Mountains. To carve this asphalt strip into the vertical cliff, people used more than 6,000 tons of high-dose explosives during 4 long years of hardship. Viewed from above, the road winds like the backbone of a giant dragon sleeping among the white clouds. Fog frequently rolls in, swallowing the longest mountain tunnels in the country and turning Balia Lake into a mysterious, blurred mirror. The feeling of descending the pass with 27 viaduct spans will make you feel as if you are floating between the boundary of reality and dreams. 26. Sichuan-Tibet Highway, China. Known as the gateway to the Pure Land, the Sichuan-Tibet Highway hides the face of a giant stone monster ready to swallow anyone passing by. This asphalt strip winds through more than 2,100 kilometers of complex terrain, crossing 14 mountains over 4,000 meters high with cliffs as vertical as walls. Here, the threat lies not only under the wheels, but also hangs right above your head. Look up at the grey mountainsides, where giant boulders can crash down at any time, like meteors carrying destructive power. The sound of rolling rocks thundering along with the whistling wind through the mountain passes creates an atmosphere of ultimate tension, where every meter of the road is a face-off with death. Along the route, herds of jet-black yaks leisurely graze in the fog, a peaceful image in total contrast to the brutality of the geology. BR-116, Highway, Brazil. Stretching more than 4,600 kilometers across the length of Brazil, this is the longest road in the nation, but carries the nickname Highway of Death. Horrifying statistics show that every year thousands of tragic accidents occur on this asphalt strip, but that is only half the truth. Here, the rate of violent crime is many times higher than the average on global national routes. Black gun barrels can appear suddenly from the bushes and take your life in just 3 short seconds. The feeling of being watched by invisible eyes will make you never dare to lower the window or stop the car for even 1 minute to check the tires. On this road, every meter of asphalt is soaked in danger, reminding you that the tires roll not only on fuel, but also on the ultimate recklessness of humans. Luxor Al Hurghada, Egypt. Welcome to the 280-kilometer-long Luxor Al Hurghada route, the only asphalt strip connecting the ancient temples of Luxor with the blue sea of Hurghada in Egypt. Imagine the feeling of sitting in a steel block rushing at a speed of over 100 kilometers per hour in the thick darkness, where vision is just a deep black space with no escape. The consequence of this tactic is horrifying head-on collisions, when 2 cars only realize each other's presence . when the distance is less than 5 meters. Under the faint night stars, this asphalt strip reminds you that in the desert, fear of humans is sometimes even greater than the harshness of nature over thousands of miles. The existence of every car trip here is a grim gamble, where the only light you see is sometimes the final signal before everything sinks into the void. Commonwealth Avenue, Philippines. Prepare your mind to face the Killer Highway, a 12.4-kilometer-long asphalt strip with a record width of up to 18 lanes, but almost no clear traffic laws exist. Looking down from above, thousands of motorbikes, cars, and colorful jeepneys interweave like a giant matrix spinning out of control. A suffocating feeling surrounds you. As the loud honking of horns mixes with the intense heat radiating from tens of thousands of engines in the harsh tropical sun that frequently touches 38 degrees Celsius. You will see street vendors weaving through the dense traffic, their faces strangely calm, right in the thin boundary between safety and constant danger. Commonwealth Avenue is not just a traffic project. It is the embodiment of the hustling, frantic, and ambitious rhythm of life of the Filipino residents. Manali Highway, India. Try to take a deep breath, but you will feel your chest tighten, as if an invisible hand is squeezing your lungs in surprise. At an average altitude of over 4,000 meters and peaking at Taglangla Pass with an elevation of 5,328 meters, the amount of oxygen in the air is only half of what you once knew. Under the biting cold, 5-colored prayer flags flutter in the mountain wind. Carrying prayers for peace for the lonely travelers among the clouds. You will hear the engines screaming in despair, each puff of black smoke spraying from the exhaust. As the machine is also struggling with the lack of oxygen, just like the driver. Below are bare valleys, like the surface of another planet, where life is only patches of moss, clinging precariously to grey rocks and eternal ice. We have just traveled together through 30 of the most rugged and brutal coordinates on the planet's map. The journey through the death roads and bridges that you have just followed is actually a heroic anthem about human resilience and iron will in the face of adversity. If you are ready for the next stages of the journey to venture into impossible lands, please press subscribe to stay connected with the wonders at Untamed Globe. See you again at the next dramatic coordinates.